Scientific knowledge has widely grown throughout history. It has not been a steady or reliable growth. Scientific progression is unsteady and unpredictable. Sometimes it grows rapidly or not at all. Scientific knowledge has even been known to go backwards. It is argued that we as humans have not actually grown and evolved with our technology. With the more we learn and develop as a society, the more we think we know. This is not necessarily true. Science is not widely fact. Majority of it is actually based on theories which can be disproved at any given moment. As new ideas are introduced and brought to attention, they can either be rejected or accepted. But there is always new information waiting to be discovered to disprove everything we think we know. Progress can either be defined in a positive or negative light. Some progress is good, whilst other progress is bad. Some experts even argue that we have hit a progress trap in many areas. A progress trap is where we progress too much as a society and end up being progress too much for our own good. For example, back in the hunting era, humans' hunting methods became that efficient that it led to the extinction of the animals we hunted, resulting in almost no resources left for them to survive on. This same idea is still relevant today. We as a whole still don't seem to grasp the concept that we don't have unlimited resources. At some point we will run out. Maybe not in this generation, but somewhere down the line humans will be impacted by the loss of resources. The idea of science and the knowledge it brings emerged as a philosophy in the 18th century during what is referred to as the Enlightenment period, or also known as the Age of Reason. The Enlightenment brought about a new way of thinking. It developed this idea of logic and reasoning to reach clear, concise answers and to provide evidence. It was also used to challenge old ideas based on faith and tradition. It brought about the popularity of scientific thought and made science undermine the power of religion. Two key contributors to the Enlightenment period were Galileo and Isaac Newton. Galileo was an Italian scientist, amongst other things, who majorly impacted the scientific revolution during the Renaissance. What he is widely known for is that he proposed the idea that the planets actually orbited the Sun, which went against what was previously thought. Isaac Newton was a physicist and mathematician who was known as one of the biggest influential scientists of all time. He introduced the laws of motion and he discovered gravity. He played a major part in the scientific revolution. The growth of science and technology has affected many different areas of today's society, including climate change, antibiotic resistance, ocean acidification, biodiversity loss, and overpopulation, to name a few. Whether or not antibiotics is beneficial or harmful is a widely controversial topic. Antibiotics is designed to kill and prevent the spread of disease and infection within a person's body. There is, however, the fact that over time we can build up a resistance to the drug and it will no longer be useful. Not only does antibiotics kill the bacteria we want it to, it also kills the bacteria inside of us that we do not want it to. Antibiotics has been widely used since the 1940s when it rose to popularity. Due to its popularity, this led to frequent use of the drug, which resulted in a resistance being built up. As there is no alternative to antibiotics, or anything that works just as good, it is to be said that antibiotics is the only solution when faced with an infection or disease. In other words, despite it killing the good bacteria within us, or facing the possibility of building up a tolerance to the drug, antibiotics is a necessary evil regardless of the consequences. This is Matt. A little over 2 months ago, Matt had suffered an injury to the head, which resulted in him needing brain surgery. After performing surgery on him the second time, the surgeons made the decision to leave a bit of his skull bone out to give his brain room to swell and heal. His skull bone was placed into what was referred to as a bone bank, which preserves the bone for safekeeping until it is to be put back in. A few weeks later, he had surgery again to reinsert the part of his skull which was taken out. 2 weeks after having his bone put back in, he suffered 4 seizures which were the result of having an infection. CT scans showed that infection was present where the bone had been put back in. The bone was then removed again, and after careful inspection and testing was performed, the bone was thrown away as it contained the infection. Matt was then put onto antibiotics. He had a PICC line inserted, which is a long tube that inserts the drug directly to your body. It is used for long-term dosages of medication. He has since had his PICC removed and is now on oral antibiotic medication. In this particular case, the infection was caught early enough that it didn't spread and become fatal. Antibiotics were the answer to what was wrong with Matt and has been beneficial to him. In conclusion, as our technologies and knowledge has advanced and led to new discoveries, in some areas we are only making things worse for ourselves. In other ways, however, some discoveries and advances are beneficial. There is no way of knowing exactly how things are going to turn out. For example, with antibiotics. As there is no other alternative method to the medication, it will and has continued to be used because it works. The other alternative to not using antibiotics is to let the disease or infection spread, causing fatal results. Science continues to grow, as does our knowledge, although not at a steady rate and sometimes not at all.